May 5th, it's time for an episode of Sunday Methods of the Sema, or Sunday Sema. And we're going to start out with a reading from the Daily Stoic first, and then dive into the ancient warfare text. May 5th, by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman, out of the Daily Stoic. You are the project. The raw material for the work of a good and excellent person is their own guiding reason. The body is that of the doctor and the physical trainer, and the farm the farmers. Epictetus Discourses 3.3.1. Professionals don't have to justify spending their time training or practicing their work. It's what they do, and practice is how they get good at it. The raw materials vary from career to career, just as the locations and duration vary depending on the person and the profession. But the one constant is the working of those materials, the graduate movements, and proficiency. According to the Stoics, your mind is the asset that must be worked on most and understood best. It's all about the mind. And a professional doesn't have to justify spending their time or training on whatever it is that they deem necessary. So let's now go over to Methods of the Sema. We're on Establishing Titles, verse 5. Verse 6. Verse 5 was, in every instance, war is a case of authority, battle is a case of bravery, and establishing military formations is a case of skill. Employ what the troops want and go with their abilities. Do away with what they do not want or are incapable of and turn it against the enemy, right? So kind of like leveraging and assessing the situation and knowing terrain and that sort of thing. In every case of war, verse 6, one should have heaven, resources, and excellence on one side. When the day of battle has been set and does not change, when the turtle shell divines victory and officials move about mysteriously with a subtext of 9, heating turtle shells and interpreting the cracks was a form of divination in ancient China. This is called having heaven. When the masses are well supplied and what they produce is of fine quality, this is called having resources. When men are accustomed to advantageous formations and fully capitalize on things when making preparations, this is called having excellence. When men do their utmost to meet their responsibilities, this is called having enthusiastic men. Expanding the army for robustness, increasing its strength to cause trouble, being competent with simple management, remaining observant and responding with haste. This is called carrying out preparations. Light chariots, swift infantry, bows and arrows, and solid defense. This is called a great army. Keeping ranks tight and calm with much internal strength. This is called a solid formation. Knowing on which grounds to advance and retreat. This is called increasing strength. When resting superiors must give the men instructions. This is called training the formation. When everyone has their appropriate post, this is called being competent. Knowing on which grounds to discuss things, this is called simple management. So I like this verse a lot. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little tab in there. I like this a lot. In every case of war, one should have heaven, resources, and excellence. And I like the verse here on excellence. When men are accustomed to formations and fully capitalize on things when making preparations, this is called having excellence. So like, what do you do in your downtime? Are you studying? Are you preparing? Right? When you're purposefully resting, right? Like one of the tactics from Sun Tzu, when we're purposely resting, what are we doing? And so as we think about that and having excellence and knowing that we just read that we are the project according to Epictetus, talking about professionals spending time training or practicing their work, it's what they do, right? So the practice and the preparation, right? You can't just prepare and not have practiced before, and you can't just have gone through the motions without some kind of desired outcome or some forethought into what you're trying to accomplish.